Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. Very quickly, let me introduce myself. First, I am your trainer for Strategic Business Leader paper. My name is Shilpi Jain. By qualification, I am qualified ACCA. I had done my ACCA when I had gone to the UK and qualified in 2009. So yes, quite a long back. And ever since then, I have been involved with various corporate trainings, as well as I've been teaching the ACCA subjects of strategic business leader ever since the paper itself has been launched, as well as financial management paper. A few of you might have taken my FM class as well, so must know me already. However, those of you who are new to ACCA, those of you who have come via the exemptions route would obviously be meeting me for the first time. Now, before we actually get on to the subject, we have a look at what's happening with the subject. I would very briefly like to know all of you as well as your journey in ACCA so far. So, like, is this your first ACCA paper, or have you given an ACCA paper previously? Very quickly, if you could just type it in the chat box, so we will get I will get an idea of where do you stand in your ACCA journey as of now. Do you have some prerequisite experience of giving an ACCA exam, or is apart from just the SBL paper, I have to also teach you generic ACCA paper tips and tricks and techniques as well for you to be able to pass your paper. So very quickly, please drop it in the chat box if this is your first paper, or have you previously attempted an ACCA paper. CA Kanish says SBL is going to be the first paper. Wonderful. First paper says Amit. Sharik says first paper. It's very interesting that, a lot of you come via the exemptions route, and definitely, this is like your start journey, because you've only left with 4 papers to appear for, and you obviously choose SBL as the first paper. And I'm delighted that you've done that. Why? Because I know you're completely raw for me now. I have to mold you and, align you to the technique which is required for ACCA papers. And Ronak also says SBL is first paper. Yogesh says he has appeared for AAA and SBR in December. Wow, wonderful, Yogesh. So this not being your first paper. Wonderful, guys. So I think 90% of the class is where, this is going to be your first paper, except for Yogesh, I believe, who has just like very recent experience of the ACCA exam. Okay, Yogesh, since you're the only one who's given an ACCA exam previously, I would like to hear from you, and I would like you to enlighten the rest of the class in terms of, did you find an ACCA exam different, or, you can say unique from any of your prior examinations that you've done so far for any other qualification? Tell me. So yes, definitely it's different, but how? It's quite unique. Absolutely. The setup is very different. Yes, it's going to be a computer-based exam. And even if, most of you are coming from the CA background, because probably that is why, you gained those 9 paper exemptions and started with your ACCA journey from your SBL paper. Let me tell you one thing very, very clear today itself, that this paper, this not just SBL paper itself is very, very unique. It's unlike any other ACCA paper, but also ACCA papers are also extremely unique and unlike any other exam that you've given so far in your life. So if you're coming, if you're a qualified CA or a semi-qualified CA and starting your ACCA journey, believe you me, please do not, have this preconceived notion that we've done CA, so this is going to be a cakewalk for us. No, it is not going to be a cakewalk for you. You have to study. You have to work very, very hard. You have to follow whatever instructions, whatever, work I will be giving to you in the class. You have to do it right from today itself, right from day one itself, because Like Yogesh just said, the paper, the setup is going to be very, very unique. Suggestion is to appear for as much as for CBE platform mock papers. Absolutely bang on, Yogesh. Why? Because the paper itself is going to be very different. The setup itself is going to be very different. So the way you're going to prepare for the exam also has to be extremely different. And and unlike any other paper that you've given so far in your life. This being the first session, I'm not trying to intimidate you. I'm not trying to scare you. But I'm just setting the expectations right. I am just making sure that you know what you're heading into. And a lot of you, like most of you, are giving an ACCA exam for the first time. So you definitely don't have any prior, taken or brought forward knowledge of appearing for an ACCA exam. And you've chosen SBL as your paper. This paper itself is the most difficult paper of ACCA to pass. Previously, SBL was two different papers, P1 and P3. So one was talking about corporate governance, one was talking about ethics and business analysis, and then ACC being a very progressive organization, they clubbed these two papers because it was identified that there was some duplication in these two papers happening, and so they merged these two papers into one big heavy duty paper, which is the SBL paper. The exam fees for this paper itself is almost double than any other SBL professional level paper. Why so? Because of the quantum of the the length, the depth, and the veracity of the syllabus that this paper covers, and that is why it is so very unique. Now, like I said, I've been teaching this paper from the day this paper has been launched itself. So I have seen the transition phase. I've seen how the exams have been structured in the past. And yes, my students have been rank holders in the SBL paper. So when I say something, I am saying something out of my experience. I'm saying something out of my willingness and my urge to make sure that out of you lot is going to be the next ACCA rank holder of the SBL paper. And I can guarantee you that you will be one, provided you just only follow what I am asking you to do from today itself. So from today up till the day of your exam, which is going to be somewhere in the first week of March 2023, you have to just only follow my advice before the next class. If I'm giving you some homework, make sure that you are done, you're done with that homework and you're then coming for the next class. Obviously this is not going to be like a physical class wherein I can come and check your notebooks, but at this level I don't think so that should be required as well. You're all coming from being qualified CAs or from a CA background, so I can trust you with that sincerity. And obviously you're not school going kids that who need a teacher with a stick in their hands to make sure that you're done your homework. No, if I'm asking you to do something, believe you me, it's only for your benefit, for your preparation of the exam. And 3 months is not sufficient time to prepare for syllabus like SBL. So we really have to be on our toes from today itself. So that's precisely why I am grooming you and I'm guiding you with a lot of things to do things from day one itself. I've literally not even gone to my second screen PPT as yet. Why? Because these were the few things I just wanted to make clear before we actually head on to the paper itself. Any doubts? Anything anybody would like to ask? Because the way these classes are going to be conducted is that I will obviously be showing you my own prepared notes, which will be shared to you in the form of these PPT presentations, just like the one on your screen, which will talk about each topic one by one. So I will be sharing these to you. I also have collated few exam standard questions, which, for every topic which we'll be going through in the class, we will then be opening up our BPP books. So everybody needs to buy, I'm just typing it in your chat box, BPP workbook plus practice and revision kit. Plus practice and revision kit. You can purchase it at a good discount from VG Learning. Note down the number. It's 9599983116. Sandeep is the concerned person whom you can reach out to for books. And certainly before the next class, make sure that all of you have your physical books with you. With the physical book, will be given a code for the ebook as well. I will be showing the ebook here in the class, but obviously you need your own set of books to be able to, do your question practice at home as well. So that is something which is very extremely important. Okay, so I think I missed the question. Amit says, how many hours are required to study in a day? Good question there, Amit. See, I believe you're a CA student, right? Because that's what your name says. So typically, how much have you been studying for your CA in a day? 5 to 6 hours? Is that right? Because this question is a very relative question. So what you are grabbing and understanding in CA in 5 to 6 hours may be a little different from what you grab and understand in your ACCA papers. Why? Because here it's a very, very interesting, curriculum. I'm not boasting about the ACCA exam or the SBL exam for that matter, but it is genuinely my personal favorite subject. Why? Because it's very practical subject. It's very relatable to real life subject. I mean, I literally don't need to put my head down and study for like 6 hours in a day every day, theoretical concepts. No, I can very well, hop onto my screen, my systems, and open up any research work and start studying like the balance sheet of a company and start doing a pestle analysis on the company's performance. It's very practically oriented. So it is very it's a very life subject, if I can use that word, that it actually brings to life the theoretical concepts that you might have studied so far or will be studying. So it's very practical from that perspective, and because it's so very interesting, you will not count the number of hours. You will genuinely want to do a lot, go through scenarios, read it like a little novel, and what's happening in a business, and like you are the finance manager, so how do you like literally resolve this situation? You are the CEO of the company. What would you do if your company would face such a problem? That is the kind of study that would be required here in your SBL paper. So I wouldn't say 5 to 6 hours daily. I would only say diligently do what I have been asking you to do. Now, that might require 5 to 6 hours a day. That might only require, say, 3 hours a day. That purely depends upon your, study pace. That purely depends upon your pace of understanding the concepts per se. So as long as you are doing what I'm asking you to do before the next class, you can yourself divide, how many number of hours you want to do it. So it all depends upon your relative speed, right, Amit? But I wouldn't say 5 to 6 hours a day. It's not required. Take it, not as study time. Take it as grooming yourself to be a strategic business leader in an organization. And when you do that, that is when, it doesn't look like, okay, I have to sit down and study. No, it's like your personal grooming class. And when you look at it like that, number of hours literally don't matter, right? Wonderful. So now what I would like to do is quickly, I would take a 5 minutes break. I'm not too well today, as you probably would have understood by now because of my coarse voice. I need to get some hot water for myself, and I'll give you all quick 5 minutes to grab all information which I've given so far as well. So let's quickly meet after 5 minutes. Okay, so let's get started again. Any doubts? Any doubts? Anything anybody would like to ask so far? So basically, we've just sorted out which book you need to buy for before the next class, from where you can buy the books, and what is it that you're going to do to be able to pass your SBL paper right from today up till the day of the exam, right? Any doubts? Anything anybody would like to ask so far? And guys, I want this to be an interactive session, right? So if I ask, I need a reply as well. So if you have no doubts, say that you have no doubts. If you have a doubt, please pour in your doubt, because it's very important for you to utilize this live session in the best possible manner. So if there's anything, absolutely anything that you want me to repeat, you have not understood, I'll be more than happy to repeat and, make you understand the concept before we move forward. No doubt, says Kanishka. No doubt, says Arpit. Wonderful. Okay, so now let's have a look at what the exam is going to be like. The exam is going to be a 4-hour long exam. I'm sure none of you would have given a 4-hour long exam, in your life as of now. So yes, this is why I say that this SBL exam is going to be unlike any other exam that you would have given so far in your life. So yes, it's going to be a 4-hour long exam, 240 minutes you have to sit. It's not going to be a pen and paper exam. So very, very important, from today itself, there is going to be no use of pen and paper in my class. No pen and paper towards your SBL preparation. The only platform you're going to practice upon is going to be your laptops or your computers. No pen and paper. Again, I'm reiterating, if you only start practicing writing down your answers, writing down your points on the computer from today itself, that is the only way you will be able to, grab the speed, the technique, the technique which is required for you to be able to answer your exam as well. Remember, it's going to be a 4-hour long exam. 1 hour, minimum 1 hour is going to be spent just reading the question. It's going to be one integrated case study, which means it's going to be one very, very long scenario broken down into various exhibits. So there's going to be like one company, from one industry. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about everything about that company only. So all the 100 marker questions are going to be based on the same one scenario. This is again something that makes the SBL paper unlike any other ACC paper. In generally all other ACC papers, you will have, small scenarios followed by question, a 20 marker question, maybe, having a look at coming information from one specific scenario. But no, in this paper, the entire 100 marks questions are going to be asked from a single case study. So again, 1 hour you're going to spend just reading the scenario. So how are you going to make use of this best, the best use of this 1 hour is also going to be very important. So very important for us to be able to, understand, how do I read through this extremely long scenario as well? How do I break it down into relevant portions? Which relevant information can I put in which part of the question as well? All of that technique I will be teaching you in the class. So what it's going to be comprising of, it's going to be comprising of a 100 marker paper. 80 is going to be for purely your technical content, which is your knowledge, which is your techniques, which is your, understanding of the concepts. And 20 is going to be for your professional skills mark. Now, again, this is something which is unlike any other paper that you would have, given so far in your life. So very important for you to understand that how do I gain these 20 professional skills marks? And that is going to be based upon how you've structured your remaining 80 technical marks questions. So that is how you will be getting your 20 professional skills marks as well. What these professional skills are going to be around, how they're going to be tested, how they're going to be practiced. We are going to do all of it slowly and gradually as we go through the classes. I'm only just introducing to all of you what literally we are heading into, right? I call ACCA exams. Again, it just only requires 50 marks for you to pass your paper. 50 is a pass, 49 is a fail. You have to make sure that you are getting above 50. And I will also make sure that you get above 50, provided you promise me that you are going to follow my advice. You are going to listen to what I'm saying. You're going to practice what I'm asking you to do. You're going to not procrastinate that, okay, we'll do it, say, from next week. No, no procrastination in this class. The syllabus is humongous. It will become very, very difficult for us to finish the syllabus somewhere around the end of February. Your exam is going to be the March 1st week. We're going to finish off our syllabus somewhere around the end of February. So you will have no time. Believe you me, you will have no time to start thinking of preparing once the syllabus gets over. You have to prepare for it simultaneously. I will be telling you questions to practice at home every time we wind up, a particular topic. Make sure that you're doing it before you come for the next class. If you follow this approach, if you do what I'm asking you to do, you will 100% pass your exam. I can vouch for it. But provided you do what I'm asking you to do, right? Okay. So what do we have? 12 plus pages of case study information is going to be there. All questions are going to be based on the same scenario. Emphasis is going to be technical as well as professional skills. We already know that. And your age-old technique, probably which worked in other exams like your local exams of reading, retaining, and reproducing in the exam, is not going to work in ACCA. I'm again repeating for you that if you think that just learning and mugging up and vomiting it in your exam, the concepts, if I read and learn all the models in the SBL paper and I explain all the models in the SBL paper, it's not going to help you pass. No, it is not. Why? Because SBL, what you require to be able to pass your paper is going to be your technique, your application of the models that you have learned. So if you have talked about the Pestel's 5 forces model, you will get 0 marks if you only explain the model to me. The examiner doesn't want that. The examiner doesn't want you to learn what is written in the books and vomit it in your papers. No, the examiner will give you 0 marks for it. What the examiner wants you to do is use this model to structure your answer and then apply this model to the scenario which has been given to you. So if I'm applying a Potter's 5 forces model, how is this 5 forces? How are these 5 forces applicable to the scenario which has been given to us? The examiner has, spent so much time, energy in preparing this exam paper. You can't just ignore it, right? You obviously have to apply it to the scenario. You have to show your application technique in a professional manner of writing your answers to be able to pass your paper. Like I said, 80 technical, 20 professional. So for every paper, for every question, you will be tested 1 professional skill. There will be like a 4 or a 5 marker professional skill, which is going to be tested for every requirement. And you will be awarded separately on grounds of your professional skills as well. So it's very important for you to not just only concentrate upon and understand the concepts. It's very important for you to understand how to apply these concepts as well, how to professionally write your answers as well, how to structure your answers in a computer-based environment as well. So very important that we understand that, we tweak our preparation mode from our already existing paradigms of probably coming in from CA backgrounds, that, okay, this is not going to work here. Please be very, very mindful and make that change in your study patterns, in your application pattern from today itself, right? Now also, there is a 20-hour EPSM module. ethics and professional skills module, which you have to mandatorily do to become an ACCA member. From ACCA's perspective, you have complete flexibility of doing it at any point of time before you apply for your membership. However, from your SBL's perspective, as a trainer, I am making it mandatory for you to finish your EPSM module before you sit for your SBL exam, before you even think of sitting for your SBL exam. So from today itself, please log on to your MyACCA account. It's a 20-hour module that you have to do. It's I think you have to pay some 63 pounds or 70 pounds is some fees you have to pay to ACCA. You have to anyways do it, at a later point as well to become an ACCA member. But my advice is to do, very, very strict advice is to do it from today itself. You can do it in tranches. You don't have to do like 20 hours in one go. Not that I'm not asking you to do that. But yes, before your SBL exam, finish that, please. Bear with me, please. Okay. Apologies, I really am not well. Okay, right. So EPSM module, do you all know from where you will get hold of this EPSM module? Let me show it to you. So you need to log on to your MyACCA account. Let me show you some very interesting resources which are available on ACCA's website. So go on to accglobal.com. Since a lot of you are giving the first exam, so go on the student section, study support resources. Select your qualification being the ACCA qualification. SBL is the paper that you are giving for. So choose SBL. And what I just told you, this is the reason behind it. Students who complete EPSM in advance of sitting for strategic professional exams have a 25% better success rate. So that is precisely why I say finishing your EPSM module is going to increase your probability by 25% for you to pass your SBL paper. So please, by all means, go to this and finish it off, right? You anyways have to do it before, you apply for your membership. So might as well get rid of it right now before you appear for your SBL paper only, right? Okay with everyone? I hope it's clear. I hope if there's anything anybody would like to ask, please ask. Any doubts, guys? Please ask. Now, these are some of the very interesting excuse me, study support resources which are available for free from ACCA. We will be, going back to these time and again. I will be explaining you how to make use of these resources, when to make use of these resources, and how to basically progress towards your SBL preparation. Any doubts so far, guys? Anything anybody would like to ask? Any doubts, guys? I'm waiting for your confirmations or your doubts. Sharik, it's a 20-hour module. So 20 hours, obviously, nobody can invest in one go, right? So break it down. You can, definitely break it down into 5 to 6 tranches and do it as per your convenience. But yes, you have to finish it off before, you sit for your SBL exam, right? Right, Sharik? Wonderful. Right. So now let me again go back to my PPT. We've done the basics. Let me show you some of the typical exam requirements which are going to be there. That what typically gets, asked as a requirement as a task in an SBL exam. So you will be required to do data analysis of spreadsheets. You will be required to interpret these spreadsheets. You will be required to analyze as well as use visual aids like flow charts and process maps to study and understand what information is flowing from where up till where. You will be required to do some problem identification as well as resolution of problems. You will be required to make some supported recommendations in terms of what do you recommend to the organization, what is it that they should do to resolve the current problem that they are facing. You will be required to prepare drafts, memos, letters, articles, PowerPoint presentation slides with supporting notes, and everything that you literally will be required to do in your job as part of a typical exam requirement. Now, let me check with you all. How many of you are working? How many of you are working professionals here? CA Kanish is wonderful. What about others? Any other working professional? CA Tanvi. Sharik. I recently passed 12th, ma'am. Now I'm graduation. Where I'm doing graduation with CA. Wow, wonderful, Jamal. Ankit is okay. Wow, that's wonderful, guys. So, because some of you are already working professionals, you might as well, be already making you obviously would be writing emails, you would be writing memos, you would be writing letters, you will be preparing PowerPoint presentations, and that's precisely the kind of skill which you are going to prepare yourself in your SBL exam as well. And that's precisely why we call that after this paper, you literally become job ready. You literally become like a strategic business leader who has the acumen, who has the skill set to be, in a position to be able to guide organizations, to be able to give consultations to organizations. And that is the kind of skills this paper is going to teach you. And like I, and that's precisely why I said it is one of my personal favorite papers. Why? Because it's so very practical. It's so very, something that I can actually relate to. So, in the classes, I will be giving you examples of McDonald's. I will be giving you examples of Coca-Cola. I will be giving you examples of Nike, and we will be studying these organizations. We will be analyzing these organizations with the help of the business models, and how do these business models actually apply to real life companies. And that is where the learning will actually become, it will come to life really. So my technique of teaching is not going to be boring, reading through the book. No, I'm sorry, I can't do that. What I will do is I will make sure that you are finding this subject extremely interesting and coming to life by relating it to real life examples, showing you videos for it, showing you, what actually goes in a McDonald's store, what actually happens to, in a Starbucks, and how this model actually applies to a company like Starbucks really maybe. And that is where the real learning, the practical learning is going to come from, right? Okay, like I said, the entire case study is going to be one integrated case study. So it's going to be one very, very long scenario. Obviously, the scenario is going to be broken down into various exhibits. Now, ideally, if I just read through these exhibits, each of these exhibits are a different kind of an exhibit. It gives you information of a different kind, most probably catering to, one of the typical requirements of the exam would be broken down into one of the exhibits which is going to be there. So there could be like a website page which has been given to you. There could be like a newspaper report which has been given to you. There could be extracts from surveys given. There could be extracts from competition analysis given. There could be board meetings and minute report given to you. There could be CEO, CFO specifications given to you. There could be an analysis of fraud given to you. But yes, this is how the typical scenario itself is going to be broken down into various exhibits, talking about various aspects of the scenario. What is happening in the scenario? You know, what is a typical newspaper report talking about what is happening in your organization? Is there some competition analysis that you have done? So that could also be put in as part of one of the exhibits. You could be given, a board meetings or a minute report to go through as to what was discussed in a board meeting. Some fraud probably got identified. You could be given, an analysis of a fraud talking about what happened in the organization, what perpetrated the fraud, what basically triggered the fraud, how did the fraud get caught up in the organization, and what you could have possibly done to avoid this fraud from happening. So these are some of the typical exam requirements that you could be examined. Okay. I am going to show you a real life exam as well. But first, let me go through the very basics of it first. Bear with me, please. Okay. Like I said, even if this is your first SBL paper, your first ACCA paper, or you probably have given any other ACCA paper, still this SBL exam is going to be a very unique, a very different paper for you. Why? Because this is the only paper literally which is testing your professional skills broken down into 5 categories. Now the professional skills are getting tested in papers like AAA as well as AFM as well. However, in your SBL exam, these professional skills, marks and these testing of skills has been there from day one itself. So this is how the paper has been very unique and different from day one itself. So what are these professional skills that we are talking about, and how these different professional skills are going to be tested under different scenarios? So there is going to be a testing of your communication skills, commercial acumen, as well as analysis skills, your skepticism skill, your evaluation skills. Now, obviously, these are just 5 terms or 5 names as I am just, reading them throughout. Obviously, doesn't make sense to you. What do you mean by communication skill? What do you mean by skepticism skill? Let's have a look at each one of these professional skills one by one and understand what does the examiner expect you to do to be able to gain marks, to be able to gain those 4 professional skills marks under the category of communication, to be able to gain those 4 professional skills marks under the category of evaluation maybe. So what is it that you're required to cater to under a particular professional skill is what we will be doing now, right? Till now, any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Sorry, I'm not too well, but I didn't want to skip today's class because if we start missing classes, then obviously, the course curriculum has to be rushed, and then there's no way I really want to rush the curriculum. I want to take it at your pace and at my pace and ensure that, you are understanding every concept. So that's why I didn't cancel today's class, even though I wasn't too up for it. No, says Kanish. What about others? Any doubts, guys? Typically you will be required to do a role play in every scenario. So you probably will be, asked to put yourself in the shoes of a management consultant and write a briefing note to the CEO of the company. So come to think of it, literally, you can't just write like a student. No, you have to write like a management consultant. You have to write as if you are writing to the CEO or the CF of the company. So your language, your style of writing, your presentation of answer has to be at that level that you are sending it off to the senior management of the organization, right? Don't write answers like a student. No, you're not a student anymore. You have to write answers like a strategic business leader in the organization, right? So your answers have to be well presented, well structured, very, very methodologically written answers, well presented answers, good English being used, nicely presented in terms of the communication that you're giving and how you're presenting your answer. Are you giving it with the right professional skill which is being asked for? That is something which is very, very important, right? Let's have a look at each one of these skills. Now, instead of reading through these boring theory notes, what I like to do in my exam is bring every concept to life with the help of videos. Like I said, I will be showing you a lot of YouTube videos talking about and relating, a concept and applying it to McDonald's, applying it to Starbucks, applying it to any other company. But yes, we will be looking at a lot of videos and looking at their real life application as well. And that is where I feel the understanding of the student literally happens on a practical level as well, right? So let's quickly have a look at what do we mean by these professional skills and what these professional skills are. Let's have a look at a few very interesting videos given by ACCA themselves. Give me your answer. 1, 2, or 3. Let's try each of these options one by one. I know 2 of them are incorrect, but I'll show you wrong. Approach to do it, right? Let's do the second one now. Obviously, what was required was analysis. I'm just again going to show you all options one by one. Let's just enter the bag unannounced. Okay, so now let's have a look at this one. Would have given Anna. Let's do a couple of wrong things first. Quite expected, isn't it? Okay, so very important for us, for her was to be skeptical. Yes, be skeptical, be wise in making your decisions. Very important. Let's have a look at evaluation now. Let's do this first. Okay, so how about doing this then? Analyze and make the right choice. So what do we see here? That for every business that you want to run, supposedly you want to become an entrepreneur in your life, right? Can you think of running a business without the use of these 5 professional skills? Tell me, can you think of running a business? Obviously no, right? So if you don't use any of these professional skills correctly, like Anna also, did in some of the options before she went on to doing the right thing, you see that you will fail in the business, right? You see that there will be challenges that you will face in your business. And thus these 5 professional skills that we're going to study as part of our SBL curriculum are something which is very much that we will be required to apply in our real life as well. Absolutely, Sharik. All are extremely necessary. All are going to be pillars for you to be able to run a successful business, right? Did you like this video? Tell me. Did you all like this video? Wonderful. So I will be showing you very good, interesting videos like this that will help you evaluate and understand every concept practically, that why is it that we are studying this. So it will not be any rote learning in my class. No, I will not be telling you that, these are the 5 things that you have to learn under the PESTEL model, under the 5 forces model. No, everything is going to be practically shown to you. Application is going to be practically shown to you as well. And that is precisely why I take comparatively longer sessions, like a 5-hour session, than ideally like 3 hours also I can wind up. But I don't like to, rush my subject. I don't like to just go through the book only and just, wind up with the syllabus. No, I like to bring in and bring to life these practical concepts as well. And that's why I take a little longer than other trainers maybe. And don't worry, I will be giving you sufficient breaks to survive you in the class as well. Let's have a look at each of these first, beginning with what are professional skills.
As you start to find out about the new Strategic Business Leader exam, you will see that one of its most important features is that 20 of the 100 marks available are allocated to professional skills. The exam integrates technical and professional skills in tasks that will require you to apply your technical knowledge in the context of the case and to demonstrate one of 5 specific professional skills specified in the syllabus. Let's look at these skills. Communication means expressing yourself clearly and convincingly. Depending on the requirements, you may have to inform, persuade, or clarify. Commercial acumen means having awareness of the wider business and external environment and using judgment and insight in reaching appropriate solutions. Analysis means investigating, making inquiries, and considering your findings. You will have a wide range of information to analyze in the case exhibits so that you can make the most appropriate recommendations. Skepticism. In common sense terms, being skeptical means not taking information at face value. In the exam, this involves probing deeply into issues and problems, questioning facts and challenging information to establish the real picture of what's going on. And finally, evaluation means carefully assessing information given to you to make the best decisions. It can include estimating future trends or likely implications for the organization and appraising these in a balanced way before making a recommendation. The examining team also wants you to demonstrate general professionalism, including making the most important points, not repeating points, and addressing the requirements as written. When you start studying for SBL, you must practice the skills alongside the technical aspects. We encourage you to seek tuition from an approved learning partner, whose tutors will be integrating skills development into their teaching. Question practice with feedback on your answers is vital, so that you can build up confidence in your ability to apply the skills. The marking schemes in the specimen exams show how the skills are assessed. You will see that each skill is described in terms of how they should be demonstrated in each task. To start developing your professional skills, make sure you work through the Ethics and Professional Skills module. You should do this before attempting any of the strategic professional exams, especially SBL. Find other great resources to support you with professional skills in the SBL section of the ACCA website. Start preparing today.
Okay, so now we're going to have a look at each of these professional skills one by one. Let's begin with the communication skill first.
Communication in the workplace is about being able to speak to different stakeholders. They could be your manager, someone who works for you, a client, a supplier, or one of your colleagues. When having a conversation, we would adapt the way we speak according to who that person is. Similarly, if we needed to send an email to someone or draft a memo to staff, we would always think about the audience when drafting the communication. We would think about the tone, the language, the level of detail, etc. Communication requires you to inform your intended audience in a clear and persuasive manner through the appropriate medium while being sensitive to their needs. In order to express yourself convincingly and show credibility, you must have a good understanding of what your audience will regard as important, what concerns they need to address, and the level of understanding the audience has, both of technical issues and of the current situation. You will be expected to produce material in a variety of formats, such as reports, memos, emails, and presentation slides, and will need to know good practice for each. The main response formats can be found in an article on effective communication on the ACCA website. In your exam, you may be asked to do a slide presentation, including relevant bullet points and supporting notes, to your company's board, highlighting the key benefits of using big data analytics for your company. The first step in structuring your answer is to identify and apply the appropriate presentation format. In this case, you will need to draw up a slide template with a clear header, followed by a bullet list and a separate section for accompanying notes. As you are addressing the company's board, you can assume that they have an adequate understanding of the business and its current needs, so the slides do not need to focus on background or definitions. This audience should be addressed using a respectful business tone. Once you have established your presentation format, you should then list the key benefits of big data analytics on the slide in short bullet points in order of priority and logic. Use the notes section to then elaborate and explain why the points on the bullet list are regarded as important benefits. Remember to present your answers in a professional manner, making points logically and progressively, avoiding repetition, as well as generally being clear, factual, and concise. In your exam, when you are required to demonstrate communication skills, ask yourself 3 questions. What is the required medium of delivery, and what template should I use to present my answer in the most professional format? What is my audience's level of understanding, and how much information do they need? And finally, have you made your points in a logical and progressive order?
Okay. So yes, this is what the communication skill is all about. Okay, bear with me. Let me stop this. So now let's have a look at what communication skill is going to be and how you're going to answer your answer for communication skill is that you have to inform concisely. You have to inform in a manner which is concise, in a manner which is giving away the correct set of information as and how it has been asked for without, just going or becoming too subjective about it. So you have to be at all times objectively and, unambiguously provide the information, communicate the information that has been asked for. Very important is to be sensitive to the cultural differences as well that might be there, as well as be sensitive to words, that what medium are you using in terms of media and technology. Obviously you have to not just inform, you have to be able to persuade as well, that why do you think something is correct or why do you think something is not correct. Then you have to be able to clarify as well as simplify the complex issues to convey the relevant information in a way that adopts an appropriate tone and is easily understood by the intended audience as well. So extremely important for you to be able to understand the concepts that you are giving away. Inform, persuade, clarify what you've been asked to give. So 3 steps, 3 key words, 3 key you can say, action points that you have to remember whenever you are giving away an answer which is asking you about communication skill is to be able to inform, is to be able to persuade, is to be able to clarify whatever, complex things you are talking about, and clarify in a manner which is very easily understood and in an appropriate tone as well. Okay with everyone? Communication skill, is that okay with everyone? Let me know, guys. Ah, thank you guys for confirming. Let's have a look at the next one now, which talks about commercial acumen. So before we read this boring PPT, let me show you an interesting video by ACC on it.
A professional accountant must possess a range of professional skills, and you must demonstrate these in your exam. These skills include commercial acumen, which basically means you should make commercially sound decisions when resolving issues and exploiting opportunities. As part of this, you must show awareness of the external environment in which an organization operates. To show commercial acumen, you should demonstrate a combination of business awareness, effective judgment, and insight. In your exam, you may be asked to make recommendations to an audit committee of safeguards that could be implemented to reduce fraud levels at a rail company. To demonstrate commercial acumen, you must give a variety of recommendations that deal with the issue in different ways. Then, focusing on the individual recommendations themselves, consider these 2 alternatives to manage the risk that customers travel without paying for their journey. Firstly, the rail company could install ticket barriers at all major stations, or alternatively, the company could recruit a large number of ticket inspectors that will check every passenger's ticket. Which recommendation shows the best commercial acumen? Well, the ongoing staffing cost, and potential delays and disruption caused by manual checking of tickets mean that this is probably not a practical long-term solution. Installation of ticket barriers is the better option. Finally, for this example, in order to maximize your professional skills mark, ensure you justify your recommendations demonstrating insight where possible. So, when recommending installation of ticket barriers, you could suggest that this would be subject to a cost-benefit analysis, which would include the time saving of automated barriers compared to manual ticket checking. Demonstrating commercial acumen is something that you will do as you answer the detailed requirements and will not be a separate section in your answer. To maximize your commercial acumen marks, consider the following 3 points. Focus on a variety of matters which will be affected by the issue in the question. Focus on relevant areas only, otherwise it will waste time and make you appear unprofessional. Finally, make sure any recommendations are feasible and always try to consider people as well as numbers. It's people that achieve the numbers.
Okay, so yes, let's talk about commercial acumen. How do I display that I have the overall awareness, I have the overall ability to judge what is correct and what is the sound decision for my organization to take, considering the fact that I have an overall, you can say, judgment or awareness about facts and figures happening in not just only my organization, but the overall industry, the overall economy per se as well. So yes, that is what commercial acumen is all about, being able to show insight and perception and understanding, work-related as well as organizational issues, including the management of conflict, demonstrating acumen in arriving at an appropriate solution or outcomes is all what commercial acumen is all about, right? Is this okay with everyone? Do you all understand what does the term commercial acumen mean? Being able to show your overall awareness, being ability to apply not just what is evident for the organization, but also from the overall micro organizational at the macroeconomic level as well. Wonderful. Thank you for the confirmation, guys. Let's have a look at what do we understand by the term analysis. So let's have a look at analysis. Where is analysis? Here it is.
Analysis is one of the key professional skills on which you'll be tested in your exam. Analysis means logically investigating and processing information to respond to a question or request, or to meet a stated objective. To demonstrate effective analysis, you need to be able to compare information, explain why a certain piece of information is important, and explain the implications of the information. For example, in the exam, you may be asked to prepare a report to the board that reviews the performance of a company over the past 3 years. Let's say you are provided with management accounts and minutes of board meetings for the past 3 years, annual customer survey results, and a recently published industry research report. How would you use the information provided to review company performance whilst demonstrating sound analysis skills? Let's follow a logical approach. Firstly, the management accounts are provided for a reason. Use the numbers to calculate ratios and other financial performance measures. What do the results show? Use the board minutes to help you discuss the financial performance data, providing comments and possible explanations. Next, what do the results of the customer survey suggest? Are customers happy or are they dissatisfied? Is there a risk that the company will lose customers in the future? And finally, what about the external performance of the business? Use the recently published industry report to compare the company performance against industry-wide data. What does it show? Is the company performing well in comparison to its competitors? It's vital to use all the information available to you to ensure you are able to give a well-rounded assessment of company performance in your report to the board. Ensure you allocate sufficient time to review each exhibit. In the exam, when you are required to demonstrate analysis, ask yourself 3 questions. What information is available? Use numerical information to perform calculations to support your analysis. How does the information compare? From one year to another, or to competing business or industry average? What does the information mean? Consider the impact it will have on the business.
Okay, so yes, evaluation is extremely important for a business to be able to analyze what is happening. Sorry, we're talking about analysis skill, right? So what are we analyzing? Analysis is simply being able to analyze, simply being able to investigate the information which is being given to us. Not just only what looks at, and what is available on the face of the information, but be able to inquire, but be able to probe deeper into what do you reckon of the figures which has been given to you. So yes, investigate relevant information, inquire of, the correct set of people to know more, to dig in deeper, to be able to give appropriate conclusions as well. And definitely you should be able to consider the information, evidence, as well as finding carefully, reflecting on the implications and how they can be used in the interest of the department as well as the wider organizational goals that we are talking about. So be very mindful of what needs to be done and how that needs to be done as well. So be able to analyze a lot of corrective information which is given to you. Okay with everyone? Analysis skill okay with everyone? I hope I showed you analysis here, right? I'm getting confused now. Did I play the video of evaluation or analysis? Both, the same guy is talking about both the topics. Guys, did I show the video of evaluation or analysis? Yeah, I thought analysis, right? Wonderful. Okay, no worries. Even if I showed you analysis only, right? Yeah, thank you. Let's have a look at skepticism now in terms of understanding what do you mean by the word skepticism and how that is going to be applied. Being skeptical is having a questioning mind. Don't just accept things which are being told to you in black and white, right? Go deeper, evaluate, find out, probe that is it actually correct or not? Is it true or not? That is what skepticism means.
As in the real world, during your exam, you'll face a substantial amount of information in various forms. Can you be sure that the information is correct, truthful, or complete? You can't. That's why you need to be skeptical. Skepticism is crucial in the world of accountancy and is one of the key professional skills on which you'll be tested. To demonstrate effective skepticism, you should show a combination of probing, questioning, and challenging. In your exam, you may be required to review and comment on information given by a finance director at a monthly board meeting. Don't simply accept everything that the finance director has said. Is there evidence that supports or conflicts with the views of the finance director? If the board meeting minutes claimed that the audited annual accounts show an increased profit of 52% to 120 million due to a cost control initiative led by the finance director, what would be the most appropriate of these three elements to challenge? Well, the audited accounts have been reviewed by an independent third party, which provides sound evidence of the validity of the numbers. Therefore, it would be the reason given by the finance director for the profit growth that would be the most appropriate element to challenge within your answer. Moving on, how would you then question the finance director's reasoning? Would you accuse the finance director of bias and demand evidence to back up their claim? Clearly not. However, it would be appropriate to request further details from the finance director that support his explanation within your answer. This would be an acceptable example of professional behaviour. Professional accountants should be able to challenge views given at all levels within the business. Remember, we don't assume that everything is wrong or that everyone is lying to us, but also don't take everything at face value. In your exam, when you're required to demonstrate skepticism, ask yourself 3 questions. Is there sufficient evidence to support the claims being made? If not, what further evidence is needed to verify or challenge those claims? When you challenge, have you done so in a professional and courteous way?
Yes, so very important for us is to be able to probe, is to be able to question that whatever we are saying, is it the right thing? Is it the correct value? Do we just accept things at, by the mind of it? No, we should be able to be skeptical. We should be able to deeply probe and question and, support it with facts and figures. And that is what is going to make you exam ready, right? So the last skill, skepticism is what? Skepticism is probing deeply, questioning facts, is challenging information, asking that, without obviously hurting anybody's integrity. I'm not saying that, the finance director is saying a lie. No, that is not what I'm saying. But I'm also trying to deepen, further evaluate, further probe into the fact that whatever claims are being made, is it justifiable or not? Is it the correct thing to say or not? That is what is being skeptical. Okay with everyone? Everybody understands what is being skeptical? Let me know, guys. Do you understand the term? How we will apply it obviously will come with question practice too, but I'm just explaining the terms as of now. Probe means questioning, getting more deeper into it. Like, not just accepting things on the face of it, but being able to, question, okay, is it right? Is it the only thing that is there? Is it what it looks at the face of it? That is what probing means. Okay, so the last one is evaluation. Let's have a look at evaluation skill.
Effective evaluation is a required skill of a professional accountant, both in the real world and in your exam. It can be demonstrated across 3 areas: by assessing and using professional judgments when considering issues or problems facing the organisation in the exam scenario, estimating trends and making reasoned forecasts of the implications of potential decisions available to the organisation, appraising facts, opinions and findings objectively with a view to balancing the costs, risks, benefits and opportunities before recommending solutions or decisions. In your exam, you may be asked by the Board of Directors to write a business case, which evaluates a potential significant investment in a new IT system. You should start by assessing the current situation and the potential need for the new system. For example, is there evidence of problems with the current system which may be reducing the quality of service provided to customers? This should lead on to discussing the resulting benefits of a new system. For instance, a better experience for customers, leading on to improved financial performance. Wherever possible, you should estimate or forecast the actual impact on areas such as revenue and profitability. In order to present a balanced argument, you need to consider any downsides to the investment. This may include risks associated with financing the venture, so you could appraise the accessibility and cost of finance relative to the current status of the organisation. Finally, your business case would make a recommendation to the board on whether to proceed with the investment in the new IT system or not. Remember, you will score marks for a sensible recommendation as long as it's supported by your arguments. So, the best ways to give your overall answer a strong structure and to demonstrate the skill of evaluation are to create a balanced argument. Use headings such as advantages and disadvantages, or benefits and risks to make sure you cover both sides of the issue. Create a broad argument. Just using information or ideas from one area isn't enough. Consider financial and non-financial issues across different relevant requirements. Conclude or recommend. As we saw in our example, you are likely to be asked to evaluate a proposal, and the audience want to know whether they should go ahead. Tell them your opinion, and back this up by summarising the key advantage or disadvantage, or benefit or risk.
Yes, so you're required to evaluate. As a strategic business leader, you will obviously be asked to evaluate what is happening in the organization. So what do you do to be able to evaluate? You're required to assess. You're required to use your professional judgments to consider whatever, problems or issues you have at hand in the organization. Not just only, look at them. You also will be required to make sustainable decisions for the organization, correct decisions for the organization to take you in the correct route. So that is something which is going to be extremely important. You should be able to estimate trends or make reasonable forecast as to the implications of whatever factors you have evaluated within the organization. How is that going to impact the organization in the long run? You should be able to apprise facts. You should be able to, evaluate facts, figures, opinions, findings given in the organization's case study to be able to evaluate how is that going to result into a benefit or an opportunity for the organization. How is that going to help you make better and better decisions for the organizations? How is that going to help you sustain or remove the obstacles or the problems that the organization is going to face? So all of that is going to be tested as part of your evaluation skill. Okay with everyone? Do you all understand these 5 skills which you're going to be tested? And how each one of these skills is actually different from one another. Okay with everyone? Any doubt, guys, please ask. Please ask if you have any doubt. What I'm going to show you is a very small video by ACCA about the exam technique for your overall SBL paper. Why I'm showing you all of these videos today itself is because it's just only an introductory session today. So let's just get few facts and figures correct about our paper before we actually dive into any of the technical concepts per se. We're just only trying to, fundamentally debrief the paper per se, right? Wonderful. So let's quickly have a look at the technique for this very long, very unique, different paper that you're going to appear, which is the SBL paper.
The Strategic Business Leader exam is a challenge. 4 hours long, multiple requirements, professional skills marks, and multiple exhibits mean that good exam technique is vital. But don't worry, you can still apply the core exam technique skills that you've used in your other ACCA exam papers. Using these skills will help you meet the challenge of the SBL exam. You must make your own plan for working through the SBL paper that works for you, and then test it by doing at least 2 mock exams at a time. As part of this, you should create an outline time plan. How long will you spend reading the requirements and exhibits? How long will you spend on planning? And how long will you have left to write out your answer? As an initial guide, 1 hour for reading and planning would leave you 3 hours for writing your answer, and this may be a sensible starting point for you. You should read and break down the requirements in as much detail as possible. For example, if the requirement says evaluate a potential acquisition, you could note how you will do this in your answer. So using pros and cons or the SFA model. Next would be a detailed and active read of the exhibits. This means making notes or preparing answer plans as you read. One key thing to remember is that all the information is there for a reason and can be used in your analysis. Once you've planned, you can start constructing your final answer using these concepts. Before you start answering any requirement, read it again to make sure you are actually answering the specific requirement. If you're not, you'll be wasting time and you will lose both technical and professional marks. Allocate your time to each requirement based on the number of marks available and stick to it. Use theories and models to analyze issues, generate ideas, and give structure to your answer. But don't waste time defining theories. Think of your answer as if someone was paying you to write it. They want to know what's important and what they should do. And finally, don't panic. If the exam seems tough to you, it will seem tough to everyone. Keep to your plan, keep to your time, and you will maximize your chance of success.
Some very important tips being given there, that yes, please don't panic. It's a 4-hour long exam. It becomes very, very easy for, that panic to set into your system. And when that happens, obviously, your mind doesn't then function in the correct manner, because only then what is going to happen is that panic is going to set into your nervous system. No, we will not allow that to happen. Instead, what we will do is we will do good question practice, good exam technique practice from today itself, so that when we actually head into the exam, we are extremely confident, we are extremely prepared of what to expect in the exam. And when you already know what to expect, then your expectations will be met, and then the panic is not going to kick in. So that's precisely why I'm showing you a lot of these informative videos, which is directly from ACCA itself. So it's not just me vouching for these tips and techniques and these tricks which I am telling you to do, but also directly ACCA is vouching for these for these techniques that you must do from today itself, before we actually prepare ourselves to sit for the exam. So 4-hour long exam, yes, some basic techniques you can follow. Read through them. Some of the basic issues which have been highlighted in the SBL exam by the examination technique, by the examination team, is that students, candidates sometimes don't focus on the application of concepts. They do not understand or address the task requirement in terms of what it should be and how it should be addressed. They don't justify the answers. They don't understand that there is not just one requirement to the question, but it's a multi-perfection or functional perspective of the task. So it's more than one requirement which has been asked for, and thus you need to answer every requirement which has been asked for separately as well. Obviously, if you're not clear about professional skills, it becomes very difficult for you to pass your paper. If you've not done your EPSM module, it becomes very difficult for you to pass your paper. If you've not done mock exams, it will be impossible for you to pass your paper. Really, I mean, I'm just saying it as bluntly as possible. But yes, these are some of the key issues which you need to get out of your way if you want to pass your SBL paper. And that's precisely why I'm identifying and showing all of this to you on the first day of the class itself, so that we know what are the strong do's and don'ts of our SBL preparation. Right, everyone? Any doubts? Now, one of the major challenges being here is talking about your computer-based exam. What I will do is I will show you first what an actual exam looks like. Just give me a second. I have just very interesting few tips to share with you all. Just bear with me, guys. Let me show you what an actual exam looks like. But before that, let's go through one actual exam. So this is an actual case study of SBL. Let's quickly look at a debrief of it.
ACCA qualification, the future. Based on our extensive research and track record for innovation, our redesigned qualification will deliver unique advantages, including strategic business leader, our new groundbreaking innovative case study, one of our pioneering strategic professional exams, featuring the real-world challenges future accountants will face, The syllabus for the Strategic Business Leader incorporates essential professional capabilities such as leadership, governance, strategy, risk, technology and data analytics, organizational control, finance and innovation and change management. It will also assess candidates on skills such as communication, commercial acumen, analysis, skepticism and evaluation. The exam will be introduced in September 2018 and consists of a single scenario innovative case study. Students will have 4 hours to complete the exam. They will be required to fully consider evidence, such as reports, emails, briefing notes, presentations and diagrams, and write up their own reports in response. The following is an example of a task taken from the Strategic Business Leader Specimen Exam, a real-world challenge facing a business professional. Railco is Beeland's public sector rail company. It's overseen by Governing Committee, the Railco Trust Board. The National Audit Authority, NAA, is Beeland's government's audit authority. They evaluate performance and value for money delivered by publicly funded organisations, including their senior executives and boards. Railco has received negative publicity and complaints because of its poor performance. Beeland's Minister for Transport has commissioned the NAA to undertake an urgent investigation into Railco and its board. Mei Lung, NAA Assistant Auditor. Alex Reid, NAA Senior Audit Officer.
Morning, May. Good weekend?
Good, thanks. And you?
Yeah, great, thank you. I wanted to meet this morning because the Minister of Transport has commissioned us to investigate Railco's performance.
Actually, an analyst has already prepared a spreadsheet summarising the results of the recent rail passenger survey, plus 3 years' performance figures. Perhaps this could help?
Yes. But carefully consider the efficiency and effectiveness of the Railco Trust Board in delivering passenger services and value for money. We'll need adequate evidence of any shortcomings.
OK.
And compare the performance of Railco during the period against similar service operators. Make sure it's an objective review that analyses their financial and operational efficiency.
Absolutely, of course.
And factor in the company's performance in areas like health and safety and service provision from a stakeholder perspective.
Will do. By the way, who's this for?
We'll present it to the Railco Trust Board and then submit it with our recommendations to the NAA and government.
Sounds good. Right, I'll get onto it. Jay, hi, it's May. How are you? Good, thanks. The analysis you've prepared on Railco's performance, could you do me a favour and email me the results spreadsheet? Great. Are you able to do that straight away? Brilliant. All right, thanks, Jay. Bye. Oh, that was quick.
Hello, May. Good to see you. I wondered how the performance analysis was going.
The report's well on its way.
Okay, good. But the main reason for wanting to speak to you today is because, with further investigation, the focus of the audit has moved to Railco's governance, internal controls, and how effectively they've been designed and implemented.
I see.
Yeah, it seems the CEO, John Rose, has not been leading the organisation as effectively as he should.
What's the evidence for this?
Well, the minutes from their recent board meeting are quite revealing. I'll email them through to you. you'll see they indicate issues with his leadership style and priorities, specifically with governance, internal controls, and how they've been applied. It seems John Rose has some questions to answer.
Right, that's interesting. I'll review the minutes and draft a letter.
Please address it to the chairman of the Trust Board, and I'll send it along with your report on the analysis of their performance.
No problem. Is there anything else you'd like me to focus on or include?
Yes, please. Also review the effectiveness of the internal controls using evidence from the minutes. The question is the CEO of Railco failing in his fiduciary duties to the trustees?
I'm on it. I'll get a letter to you as soon as possible.
Right, thanks very much, mate.
May now has all she needs to undertake her assignment for Alex. The Railco Trust Board that evaluates the implications of the findings of the passenger survey and their performance over the last 3 years. Part B. Draft a letter to the chairman of the Railco Trust Board, which reviews the effectiveness of the internal controls at Railco. To learn more about Strategic Business Leader and to follow up on how well May did in completing her assignment, read the answers to Task 2 of Specimen 2 on our website at ACCA Global.
So you see how different are the, and how practical literally is this paper of SBL. So I really, really hope you guys are all as much excited as I am about this paper now. Are you excited about this paper? Tell me. Do you feel that, you're literally venturing into something which is different, which is unique, which is something which is going to make you literally not just, not just preparing for an exam, but it's grooming you from being a professional who is going to actually add value to the job that you will be doing, right? Wonderful. I'm super happy to see that I have an equally excited set of students with me as I am to teach this paper to you. Now, one of the very key challenges again that we've identified in the ACCA exam is that students are not well prepared in terms of their computer-based exam skills which are required. What I will do now is that we'll take a quick 15 minutes break we'll take here. And then I will show you an actual SBL exam. I will take you through the basics of an actual SBL exam. And then we will start with chapter 1. The reason I'm concentrating so much so about on just, briefing you and making you ready for the exam is, for the paper, for the preparation of the exam is so that I can actually, groom you first. Your mind has to be prepared in terms of what is it that you have to, equip yourself with. That's precisely why I've spent a lot of time today in just making you familiar with the exam pattern. We will be using BPP. In the class, I will be making use of my own questions. So I've drafted a few questions, which I obviously have not drafted myself, which are from Kaplan's book. So we will be doing them in the class itself. For your homework and for your practice questions, we will then be opening up your BPP kits. So I will be basically preparing you with both the content. But what you need to buy is buy your BPP books, please. Again, I'm reiterating. Reach out to the team at VG Learning. Reach out to Sandeep 9599983116. Buy your BPP practice and revision kits and your workbook. So there's a combo which you need to buy before the next class, please. Right? And with the physical book, you will obviously get a free ebook as well. So that will kind of prepare you again. Okay, let's meet in 15 minutes from now then. Okay, I hope everybody is back from the break. Let me quickly show you what an actual ACCA exam of SBL looks like. Give me a moment. Let me log on to my platform. The reason why I want you to have a look at your actual exam before we actually start with the preparation of it is to prepare your mind in terms of what is it that we are going to hop onto. So this is a proper actual past exam. I am just going to show you an SBL exam. Let's quickly have a look at March, June 21. I am going to start. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign a new paper. Let's assign this one. This is December 2020. Why I'm showing this is so that I can show it to you from the beginning that how the exam actually looked like. So this is March, June 2021 exam. The paper will always begin with this introduction screen. It will then hop on to this 4 pages long instruction. So I want you all to spare out 5 minutes and read through these instructions, please. Very important. Read through these instructions. These are generic instructions talking about what the workspace is going to be like, what functionality is going to be available, how you're going to, have a look at the exam, what is going to be, like the exhibits are going to be there, which is going to be the content of the question paper, which is broken down into different resources. Then you're going to be, different tasks, which is your requirements, which will have a different set of mark allocation for each requirement, along with 4 professional skills marks being allocated towards the application of 1 each professional skill at every requirement. Then for every question type, you will have to choose the appropriate response option, whether you want to open up a spreadsheet like in Excel, or you want to open up a blank workspace like a Microsoft Word document, or you want to open up a PowerPoint presentation in case you want to prepare PPT slides with supporting notes. So yes, these are the 3 exhibits which will be available to you to be able to, give your answers. Read through this, please. I will show all of that to you as well. But give yourself 2 minutes and read through this general instructions about the exam, about the workplace, please. Quickly read through this. Let me know when you have finished reading. Okay? Quickly go through this, please. Done reading, guys? Guys, you can't take so long to read just 1 page. You have to give me confirmation. You've read the basic requirements? Let's move on to the next one. So there's navigation tool that you have available. There's a flag for review option, which is available. There's a help and there's a calculator option, which is available. I will show you all of them. Then there is a scratch pad functionality in the computer-based exam itself, which is also available to you for your use. You can make use of the various symbols, like, whatever symbol you want to insert in terms of like a currency symbol or whatever you want to insert in your answers. You can also make use under the symbols option, and then you have a navigator screen to look at that what is the status of the exam. Now, because the SBL exam is only going to have like one exhibit only, really, one scenario only, really, so it will not be broken down into different tasks. But other ACCA exams, if you have a look at, it's obviously broken down into different specific tasks per se. But here it will be, either you've done it or you haven't done it. So it's just going to be likewise. Now, scratchpad is also one thing I want to make very clear. For those of you who appear for the exam at, appear for a remote exam, they do not have the functionality to use a physical rough paper, which is available only in a center-based exam. Now, my personal advice to all of you who will be appearing for the SBL paper is to please go ahead and book your center-based exam only. I don't want you to, stress yourself with the remote-based exam, trying to think about the internet connectivity, trying to think about what if the light goes, trying to think about what if the technical requirements are not met. Please don't spare yourself of all of that, extra burden. Instead, just only concentrate upon your SBL paper. So early exam entry is open already. Please go ahead and book your SBL exam at the center. I don't want anybody to struggle with the remote based exam. COVID was, a forced thing that we had to opt for the remote based exam, and something that we could obviously not help. But now that the world is opening up, centers are available, I would very strongly advise you to please book for your center based exam only, right? Then how do you review the exam? You review the exam, you can review an item-based review, and then you would end your exam. Okay, so now, obviously, this is a computer-based exam practice platform, which I am showing you. Now, all of you have access to this practice platform, which is directly from your My ACCA account. So you will have this option to go to your CBE practice platform. Let me show it to you here as well, how you can navigate and log on to it. Okay. Let me just show this to you here. So you can log on to your ACCA practice platform either directly from the ACCA's website or directly from your My ACCA account as well. Both options are available to you. You have to do lots and lots of practice here itself. So it's very important. But obviously there are going to be few differences between the live exam and the practice platform. Just go through the screen, please, very quickly. Go through the screen. Let me know when you finished reading. Done reading? So yes, there are going to be very few small differences between the actual exam and your practice platform. So this is how the highlighting difference is there a little bit. In the live exam, the selected text is obviously grayed out. Here you can have different shades to select. Quickly read through it, guys. Read it? One of the beauty of giving a computer-based exam is that you can copy paste your text given in the question paper as well. Obviously, there's no point just copying pasting information which has already been provided by the examiner, but what you could make use of this functionality is the highest in copying pasting the requirement before you actually start writing down the answer. So how do we do that? I will also show it to you once we actually open up the actual exam. Okay, it's saying things that I haven't gone through the entire screen. Okay, so this is what it is going to be like. 100-mark exams you have. And I am just going to begin the exam. Okay, so this is actually a past exam. So this is exactly how it is going to look like. So this is the basic overview of what you have. Then these are the various exhibits in which it is broken down. These are the different tasks which you have to perform, and marks for every task is aligned as well. And then you have different response options to choose which format of the response do you want to give? Do you want to write like you're writing in a Word-like document, which is the word processor? It obviously has the basic functionalities of a platform which is similar to a word processor. You can make use of functions like bold, italic, underline. You can copy paste here. What else? You have a spreadsheet option, which is similar to an Excel. So any calculations you have to perform, you have to open up your spreadsheet and then perform the calculations. You can obviously navigate through these windows up and down. Then you have your slide option. Remember, in your SBL exam, you will also be required to prepare PowerPoint presentations. To open this slide option, slide will have bullet points. You go down and explain the speaker notes for each of these bullet points that you have highlighted. So these are the typical 3 exam response options that will be available to you. Now, what I will do, obviously, we're not going through an entire exam. I'm just showing you what the exam looks like. So you have an overview, which talks about the basic overview of the scenario, like what is happening. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can increase or decrease the font size. You can cancel. You can open multiple exhibits at the same time as well. So this is an NCCP website extract, which talks about the company, about the courses they offer, about company's work culture and how is the organizational structure at NCCP. You then have some income and expenditure statement. By all means, you will be required to perform some calculations in your SBL paper. So basic ratio analysis should be like spot on. You should be able to read, analyze, evaluate, recommend based upon calculations that you will be performing on these numbers which will be given to you. I hope everybody is familiar with ratio analysis and comfortable with ratio analysis. Is that okay with everyone? Tell me. Then you have some annual performance of how your various courses have been performing. So till now, so you can do some analysis based upon these numbers as well. Then you talk about the risk management in the organization. So very categorically, what we observe here is that the scenario, even though it's like one company, it has been very methodologically broken down into the various exhibits by the examiner. And why so? Obviously, to be able to to help you navigate through this too much information which is available to you. So that is why it has been broken down. So if I'm talking about risk management, I know that most of my information which I will require from the scenario is going to come from exhibit 5. So I can just very well open up and take information from exhibit 5. Obviously, you will have to apply certain models, you will have to apply it to the scenario. But yes, the examiner has tried to help you by breaking down the information given in the question also into various exhibits, so that logically also you can navigate through the entire plethora of information which will be available to you, right? Then there's a CEO's email on new courses, which is there. So, I mean, we have, even though like it's a lot of information, it has been very beautifully broken down into various exhibits. Then you have this newspaper article talking about what's happening. So general press, what does the general press say about you? It says, has NCCP lost its way? So obviously not a very good header to begin with only. So something, some problems probably getting identified in the organization, in the general press. And then you have a little bit of your staff survey as well, in terms of how motivated is your workforce. So as soon as I just only go through the exhibits, I know that, okay, this is what we're going to be dealing with when I actually read the scenario. What I've just only done as of now is shown you the question paper. Let's very quickly go through the typical exam requirements as well. So that obviously we can't answer any of it as of now because we literally haven't studied anything as of now. but just to set, your mind in terms of how and what kind of exam are you driving into. I'm giving you time to absorb all of this today. So let's have a look at the executive boards. You have to prepare a report for presentation to the board. So clearly, what you've been asked to do here is prepare a report for presentation to the board about analyzing, assessing NCCP's internal as well as external stakeholders, as well as recommend the appropriate ways of managing these stakeholders. Like I said, there are going to be separate professional skills marks. So for analysis skill that you will be doing for this particular requirement, you will be awarded 4 separate marks in terms of your requirement of just analyzing the different set of stakeholders and recommending how to manage these stakeholders as well. Then part B, you will be required to critically assess NCCP sources of competitive advantage, and the professional skill being tested here is evaluation skill, which is again a 4-marker separately given for this particular requirement. So like I said, every skill is going to be tested separately for 4 marks, and which skill is being tested for which requirement will also be categorically mentioned under the task as well. So I hope everybody is able to understand the kind of rigor that this SBL exam is going to have. Is everybody okay with it? Are we good in terms of absorbing what paper are we grabbing into? Do you all understand? Let me know, guys. Are you all able to understand? Was it helpful to you for you to go through? Absolutely, you will require to practice. Buddy, this is the only way you pass your SBL exam. Lots and lots and lots of question practice. And that's precisely why I've shown you all the resources which are available to you today itself. So that you don't, you don't feel that apprehension, okay, what do I do? Where do I do? So what you have to do, you have to log on to your My ACC account, which is this. Let me go back and show you where you can do question practice from your BPP kits as well. Let me just quickly close this and open it up again to show you the blank workspace also, which is available. So for all the questions that we will be doing in our class, as well as in our homework questions, which I will be giving you, you have to open up your practice platform. You have to go under Strategic Business Leader. You have to open up this blank workspace. So this blank workspace is assigned here. What do? I just resume it. And I have response option Word. I have response option Spreadsheet. I have response option Slide available to me. Now, this is something which is blank workspace. So I take the question from the book. I open up this blank workspace and type in my answers, please. It's extremely important for you to start doing this from today itself. I hope I have literally made myself very clear that how are you going to prepare yourself for the exam? Is that okay? Are you all happy and excited about the SBL paper? If you have any doubts, please ask. Because what we will do now is we will take a quick lunch break, and then we will start with chapter 1. Right? Please ask if you have any doubts. Any doubts, guys? Please ask. So we will take a quick lunch break till 2 p.m. Lunch break is till 2 p.m. So quick lunch for everyone, and then we shall resume. Okay? See you guys. Thank you. Okay, time to resume. Sharik says we need to answer in Word, spreadsheet, and slides in any manner we want, or question will specifically tell about the requirement and mode of answer. That has to come from you, Sharik, and that will come with question practice. So you will get to know that, okay, this particular requirement of the question, I should be making use of the word processor. I should be making use of the spreadsheet. I should be making use of the slideshows, like the PowerPoint presentation option, to be able to give answer to my question. The question will not mention it categorically. It is your acumen that will tell you that, okay, this can be answered using this response type. Right, Sharik? Good question there. Any other doubt? Anything else anybody would like to ask? I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment so I can open up my next chapter PPT very quickly. Just give me a moment, please, guys. Meanwhile, if you have any other question, please feel free to ask. Anything anybody would like to ask? I am just going to open up my chapter number 1 till then, which is... Just give me a moment, guys, please. Okay, so I am good to share my screen. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to introduce the next chapter. So this is the way all the classes are going to be conducted. For every chapter, I have prepared my own set of notes, which will be comprised of PowerPoint presentations like this, which I will be sharing with you to refer to as part of your revision, as well as for those who are not able to come to the live class, they can also have a view at these in their LMS. Okay. So the first chapter we're going to start off with is concepts of strategy. Why are we learning this entire chapter to become a strategic business leader in the first place? Do you think it is something which is required? Tell me. Do you think it is required? Do you think it is something that will groom you to become a strategic business leader? Do you think that, this subject is not just important from your exams perspective, but also very important from your overall personality, from your overall skill set perspective? Do you think it's required? Absolutely, yes. Wonderfully, yes. So yes, it's extremely important to understand that every organization needs to understand the concepts of strategy. If they want to succeed, they need to have a roadmap, a strategy, an action plan in order to succeed, in order to achieve their overall objective and mission that they are standing for. And then once you have a strategy, you have a goal to achieve. That is how, that is what pushes you to be able to align and achieve your objective as well. And if there are any slippages or drifts that may come along the way, you will be able to reconcile and get back on track as well. So that is what the concepts of strategy is going to be talking about. So let's have a look at the strategic planning. Now, what do you understand by strategic planning? What do you think? What any idea you have of the term? So you are preparing this paper for SBL. Do you have a strategy? Are you thinking of preparing a plan to achieve, to pass your paper? Yes, right? That's precisely what I spent the first 3 hours of the class upon, to help you groom, to prepare a strategy, to prepare a plan for us to be able to achieve our objective of passing the SBL paper, right? Similarly, every organization needs to have a strategic plan, a long-term action plan, a long-term horizon. When we are talking about, say, a window of 5 years or plus in terms of where we want to see ourselves as an organization in 5 years from today. So that is what the strategic plan of the organization will talk about. It considers the long-term objective of the organization, considers not just one or two SBUs of the organization, but the whole organization, and what is it that they intend to achieve out of it. It gives direction to the whole organization as well as integrates its activities into becoming what it is, what it endeavors to be for. It considers all the stakeholders of the organization. It looks at how to gain a sustainable competitive advantage in terms of achieving. How are you going to be better than the competition? How are you going to beat the market? How are you going to achieve, not just only achieve, but also sustain competitive advantage from your competitors? It relates to the organization, the resources, the capabilities, the competencies it has in relation to the environment, and what it can be capable of achieving in the long run. That is all what strategic planning talks about, right? Okay with everyone? So why do you need a strategy? Tell me. And is having a strategy always a good thing? Does it have its fair share of disadvantages as well? So tell me, what do you think? What do you understand by the term strategy to begin with? Come on, you have to tell me. Game plan, yes. Action plan, roadmap. What is it that you see for yourself in, say, 5 years from now? So yes, a strategy is a roadmap, an action plan in terms of the resources, in terms of the capabilities, in terms of the operations, in terms of the scope of what you want to achieve in the long run, and how do you intend to achieve it in the long run. So it basically is, all the pattern of activities that seeks to achieve the long-term objectives of the organization and adapt its scope, its resources, as well as operations to changes in the long run. Now, advantages and disadvantages. Again, this is something that you should be able to tell me. It's very simple. So tell me the advantages as well as disadvantages of having a strategy. You have to tell me both. Okay, so let's have a look at the advantages and disadvantages told by the class. It's forward-looking, helps to gain competitive advantage, better planning, absolutely yes. Structured approach to competition and other challenges, absolutely yes. Disadvantages include that it's time-consuming, it's not adaptive to the dynamic changes due to uncertainties in the business environment. Absolutely brilliant point there, Tanya. And Kanish says disadvantages include deficit on the cost benefit in some cases. Yes, because when you tend to spend so much on pre-planning and, just in preparing the strategies, does it actually exceed the benefit that it is going to bring to you? In some cases, it might not, right? If everything is planned, then it's not possible to overlook at, it's possible to overlook at new opportunities that may arise at any random point. Yes, how can you be so fixated on your predetermined plan? What about newer opportunities, which, the ever-changing dynamic environment is coming and throwing at you? You cannot ignore and, just be fixated on your strategy at all times. Definitely, it does have its fair share of both advantages as well as disadvantages. Quickly read through the slide once, then I will open up a test question for you. So this is exactly how we are going to be doing the classes. If there's absolutely any any technique of mine that you want me to change, be it, showing relevant videos, be it making you do question practice for every topic, please let me know. I'm always open to, making changes aligned to what my class wants. When, I must have taken, say, about 20 or 25 batches of SBL so far, I'm sure. And I mean, this is something which has always been liked and appreciated by the students, to see relevant videos of real life examples, to see, to do question practice broken down topic wise, and then hop on to the practice and revision kit questions also topic wise. But still, if there's absolutely anything that, you want me to uh, probably add or delete in my style of teaching, please let me know. Because then what I will do, I will open up a test question for you to read, review, and submit your answer. And then we shall do this together. Any feedback, guys? Before we open up a test question, anything you want to say? Anything you want to say? So now you have to tell me, how important is strategic planning likely to be in the following organizations? For a health service, so like for a hospital for that reason, or a small building contractor? Obviously, it's going to be important for both, but is it going to be relatively more important for a health service sector like a hospital than probably a small building contractor who can probably, phase his growth step by step or project by project for that matter? So tell me, submit your answers for both the parts, please, quickly. Guys, I want everybody to give me an answer, please, and not one or two students. Everybody has to answer. So strategic planning is definitely very, very important for a health sector. Why? Because you cannot, think of a hospital not planning in advance. Cannot think of a hospital not looking at, what research and development do we need to make, and not investing enough in research and development in terms of creating or looking at newer and better techniques to manage and, treat diseases and ailments. Probably be more proactive towards, like what has COVID really taught us? Did it not tell us that our infrastructure is definitely not ready for something like, so grave like this? So that is precisely why strategic planning for a health service organization like a hospital is imperative. It's absolutely vital. However, if I compare it to a small building contractor, it would probably be not so very, extremely important for a small building contractor. Why? Because it is something that they can probably take on a step-by-step manner as well. They can take it slowly and gradually, one by one as well, right? Good answers there by the class. Please read your answers in comparison to the model answer. These are very small briefing topics that I've incorporated just to set the tone of the subject itself. Obviously, you're not going to be tested like, why do you need strategy kind of a question. This is just to help you understand that why are we studying this paper in the first place, right? Okay, so what do we have here? Now, at what levels do you think businesses require strategic planning? Does it, strategic planning needs to be done right at the corporate strategy level, right at the key management level? Obviously, yes, because that is where the entire planning is going to happen, right? Then it gets disseminated at the business strategy level in terms of breaking down as to how are you going to implement and action what the top management has basically envisioned for in terms of its strategic plan, and then ultimately gets disseminated to the functional strategy, because this is the level at which the actual action is going to take place, the actual implementation is going to take for the overall business strategy to be achieved. So obviously it has to be moving in the same direction at all points of time, and planning is going to happen more at the top level, execution is going to happen more at the lower level, Let's quickly have a look at a quick video on this. I am just sharing the link with everyone in the chat box as well, just for you to very quickly understand the topic. Okay, just a quick summary one it is. It's a very interesting one. Let me go on full screen.
This strategy learning content is brought to you by the Marriott School of Business and the Center for Teaching and Learning at Brigham Young University. The purpose of this video is to briefly explain the difference between business and corporate strategy. At the highest level, we think of a business as a unit that provides a product or service in a particular market, and we think of a corporation as a family of businesses, that is, a set of units under a single corporate umbrella. For business strategy, we analyze one specific unit with 4 key questions. 1. Where do we compete? 2. What unique value do we offer to customers? 3. How do we deliver that value? And 4. How do we sustain our ability to deliver that value? So, for example, J-Dog's is a favorite local restaurant close to the campus of Brigham Young University, founded by a former BYU student who had the idea to place a simple hot dog stand close to campus with high-quality dogs and a special sauce. J-Dog's competes in the fast food space within walking distance of BYU's campus. Customers choose J-Dog's over other fast food options due to its convenience, connection to BYU, quality, and taste. J-Dog's delivers this value through a unique history with a BYU student founder, intellectual property in its special sauce, a unique brand, and relationships with high-quality vendors. This is a simple business, a single unit that targets a single market with a simple set of products and clearly defined unique value. In contrast, corporate strategy considers the set of businesses we have in our corporation and how they may or may not work together. Let's imagine a corporation that owned J-Dog's along with a hot dog manufacturer and an event planning company. The hot dog manufacturer is likely a supplier of the J-Dog's restaurant. You can see that this is a different business by looking at who the buyers are for these two businesses. End consumers buy from J-Dog's when they are hungry, but restaurants and retail outlets buy from a hot dog manufacturer when they need hot dogs to sell to hungry customers. End consumers want hot, tasty food right now from a brand they trust, while restaurants and retail outlets want high-quality hot dogs that they can store safely and easily until needed for resale. One business focuses on food preparation for customers, and the other focuses on food logistics and storage. These businesses are related because they both deal with hot dogs, but since they have fundamentally different customers with fundamentally different needs, we see that they are different business units. The hot dog manufacturer, for example, might choose to sell dogs to many restaurants and retail outlets, even though the same corporation owns both businesses. The fact that the manufacturer is a supplier to J-Dog's makes this a form of vertical integration, meaning a company owns more than one stage in a product's value chain. The event planning company also targets a very different customer than J-Dog's. It helps individuals and organizations plan large events. One part of these events may be catering food. If the events are casual get-togethers or tailgating parties before sports events, then J-Dog's might be an ideal food vendor. If the events are formal, such as weddings or award ceremonies, then event planners may prefer more formal sit-down meal services that J-Dog's cannot provide. In this case, again, these two different businesses have two very different sets of customers, even though they are part of the same corporate family. We would think of these two as being somewhat unrelated businesses in a diversified corporate portfolio. It should be clear that these three businesses need very different business strategies in order to serve very different customers who demand different unique value in different external environments. Understanding this is important because we would perform business strategy audits for each of these businesses separately. And from a corporate strategy perspective, we would explore questions like, what resources do we share across these businesses, and what resources do we not share? How, if at all, do these units work together? Do we want each business to maximize its own performance, or do we want them to work together as a team to maximize overall corporate performance? even if it means one or more of these businesses will be less effective than it could be. Now let's make this a bit more complicated. What if J-Dogs opened J-Burgers, a hamburger joint? J-Burger likely targets hungry end consumers just like J-Dogs. J-Dogs and J-Burgers might even consider sharing serving space, kitchen space, and/or employees. They may be able to leverage many resources and capabilities in J-Dogs for J-Burgers and vice versa. Are these different businesses with different strategies, or are they the same business with just two different product lines? While we are not aware of any clear lines we can draw to say definitively whether these are or are not the same businesses, we think the answer depends on the extent of resource sharing between the two businesses. If we share 100% of our resources, then these are almost certainly the same business. If we share 0% of our resources, then these are almost certainly different businesses. As we lean towards 100% sharing, we likely have a single strategy. As we lean towards 0% sharing, we likely have completely different strategies for each business. When we are in the middle, things get a bit messy. Maybe 50% of our strategy is shared across units, and the other 50% is customized to our specific unit. Or maybe there's a different ideal configuration. Managing these different configurations is the realm of corporate strategy. One important takeaway is that it is critical to understand how many businesses you are in and how those businesses relate to each other in order to figure out how many strategies you need and how much of your strategy to share across business units.
Yes, so business definitely needs a strong corporate strategy, disseminating at all levels within the organization to be able to execute and be able to, deliver and achieve what plan, what strategy you have put in place. That's something which is extremely important. So goes right from the top at the corporate strategy level. Obviously, it is something which is coming in from the top. It is something which is, giving you like a vision or a growth to the organization. It is something which is talking about on deciding upon in terms of what levels of new products and services you want to enter and, put into your basket. So diversification also comes at the corporate level strategy, decision making in manner in which the management coordinates activities as well as transfers the strategic capabilities between the business units will also be decided at the corporate strategy level. That how do you want to let this direction flow within your organization is something which will be decided by the top management at the corporate strategy level itself, right? Everybody okay with it? Please let me know if you have any doubts. Business level or the business strategy level is something which we are then one level down from your corporate level management, and that is where your head of departments or head of business units come into the picture, because now they are being given the task to actually get it implemented at the functional level and to be able to get it executed and get that strategy implemented and objective achieved by the organization. So that is what your business strategy is going to talk about. And obviously the operational strategy will always be in terms of aligning the right set of people at the right time, at the right job to get the right thing done. So it will always be talking about who, when, where, and how in terms of the resources to be able to pull off the ultimate objective that you want to achieve as an organization, right? Let me open up a question for you here. Okay, what do we have? So a full service airline is making the following decisions. You have to tell me which of these decisions is a corporate level decision, is it a business level decision, or is it an operational level decision? So go through those two decisions and tell me which level of this decision making do you think this decision is going to lie under? Very quickly. Okay, answers pouring in. So let's have a look at, should a no frills, low fare subsidiary be set up? Obviously, this is a decision which is going to be made at the corporate level. The operational staff is not going to decide that, let's open up a new no-frills airline itself. Obviously, it is going to be the top management which is going to decide this. If it is set up, how should cabin staff be recruited? I think this is going to be a mix between your corporate level and your business unit. But I would more be inclined towards the the business unit level decision making. So it could be like, yeah, because they are the ones who are going to decide the policy, and then the functional staff is going to recruit accordingly. So, I mean, it would be, consistent with both. So I would offer it under both the categories, right? Is that okay with everyone, this question? Any doubts anybody has? Because then we're going to have a look at the first model, the concept. Sure. Tell me, Sharik, which concept do you want me to repeat? So right at the top level, we have the corporate management, which is going to prepare the corporate level strategy in terms of what products are we going to sell, in terms of the pricing, in terms of, the marketing, with the overall, the overall management of the company, which they will do. At the business strategy level, they will decide about how to execute the corporate strategy to be able to implement into your business unit level and be able to be aligned to the corporate level strategy itself. And then right at the functional strategy comes the level at which you are going to execute and get this strategy implemented by doing specific actions. Right, Sharik? Is that okay now, all the three levels? Let me know, Sharik, if you have any doubt. Wonderful. So let's have a look at, excuse me, guys. The first model, which is the JSW model, which tells us how do we basically prepare a strategic plan. So what we do is that we analyze where you are right now. So what is your strategic position analysis as at where do you stand today? Then what are the various options which are available to you for your future plan? So you review your strategic choices, and out of these choices, you choose the strategy to bring it into action. So you bring across your strategy into action by implementing a strategy. So that is what your approach to strategic planning is as per the JSW model. So 3 points of contact here. The first is to do your present position analysis, look at the choices available and choose the best to be able to get your long-term vision analyzed. So how do you do each one of them? You have various models which we will be studying one by one to help us analyze our overall position to begin with. So strategic analysis is what we begin with. Strategic analysis is the pestle environmental variables, which looks at political, economic, social, technological, environmental, as well as legal, as well as competitive factors and how they will affect the organization and its activities to begin with. So pestle analysis is what? Pestle analysis is an acronym which helps us do our strategic analysis, which helps us analyze our overall environment of the organization. That what is your present position in the organization, in the overall environment, in terms of the political environment, in terms of the economic environment, in terms of the social environment, in terms of the technological environment, in terms of the environmental concerns, as well as the legal environment in which businesses operate. So what is your position vis-a-vis your competition? What is your position and how these variables are supporting or not supporting you as an organization is what the strategic analysis is going to look at. So you look at the, the availability of resources that you have available in comparison to the relative strengths and weaknesses of these resources, the aspiration and expectation of the groups that have an interest in the organization, as well as the beliefs and assumptions that make up the culture of the organization that will have an effect, because they are the means of interpreting their environment as well as the resources which influence them. Right? Is that okay with everyone? Then how do you choose? You obviously have various choices available. Should I, be looking at growing organically as a business, slowly and gradually? Should I probably join hands with, a partner and, boost up to the, give a boost to the growth of the organization? Should I, buy another company? Should I probably sell myself to another company? So you have to look at all the various internal as well as external development options which are available to you as an organization, and all the choices that you have available in terms of, the resources, the options, the growth patterns which are available to you as an organization. And having done that, that is when you basically look at the implementation out of these various choices which are available. Just bear with me for a second, guys. Okay, so yes, out of the various choices that we have available, we have to choose that how do you want to compete. That will be studied with the Porter's model. We have to choose which growth route we want to take. That we will study through the Ansoff's growth matrix. And we have to also look at the method of growth that we want to choose, organic or inorganic, in terms of acquiring new companies or in terms of growing organically. So all of these are various choices that you have to make as an organization. Then how do you put this, strategy into action? In terms of, are we going to do it ourselves, or are we going to, probably outsource it to somebody else? Are we going to, what would be the organization structure in terms of being able to implement this, strategy into action? What would be the resources that are going to be required? Do you have the capabilities to be able to manage these new resources? Will you be able to manage the change that this new strategy is going to bring across? All of this will be part of your strategy, action, as well as implementation of the strategy. So 3 models, 3 important aspects you have to study under the JSW model, that where you are, where you want to be in terms of, what are the various choices available, and how do you choose one choice and implement the strategy to be able to achieve that choice which you have made. Let's quickly have a look at a question. Okay, what do we have here? So there you are. Very quickly have a look at this question and pour in your answers. Where is the answer, guys? Quickly. So under the 3 heads of the JSW model, you have to tell me what all you would be deciding. What all, factors would you be considering? Come on, guys. Your answers should start pouring in. Yes, that's good, Abdul. Under each header, I need examples of what the provider should consider when they are, thinking of setting up these additional small city center clinics capable of treating less serious day cases. So quickly, under each of these 3 headers of the JSW model, you have to tell me what would be the factors that you would be considering. Everybody needs to tell me. Okay, answers beginning to pour in. So let's review. A health provider has only small edge of the town hospitals. It is considering, however, to set up new additional small city center clinics, which will be capable of treating less serious day cases. So now you have to tell me under the JSW model, what would be the factors that you would be considering under each of these heads. So obviously from a strategic position perspective, you will be looking at, what are, what kind of treatments with you, what kind of, is it like, worthy to set up this small clinic in the first place? So do a cost benefit analysis of it. It's a health sector you're dealing with, right? You cannot ignore the safety of the patients. You have to make sure that health and safety is your top priority right at the strategic position level itself. Acceptability to patient in terms of whether they are willing to go down to these small clinics or not. Would you be able to, arrange for staff to provide services at these small city center clinics or not? So all of this is something that you will be considering and contemplating at the strategic position level itself. Then comes in next the choices that you have to make. Choice in terms of when, where, how, who. So, what treatments, what illnesses are going to be treated, who is going to treat, what would be the opening hours like, where these clinics are going to be situated. All of these are going to be your strategic choices that you will be making. And implementation obviously means that once you've chosen down few locations, let's basically strive to get these small clinics up and running. So from where are you going to acquire your resources, how the fitting and establishment is going to be done, who is going to fill in what basically could be your staffing pro rata, or you can say which staff goes to these small clinics when, how do you get like a main doctor to also go and visit at a certain number of hours at these small polyclinics as well. So all of this will be part of your implementation stage. Is that okay with everyone? Does everybody understand this? Guys, any doubts in this? Please ask if you have any doubts. Now, what is a drift? So I have a plan, I have a roadmap. Is it something that you're going to stick to like 100% at all times? Obviously, it's not practically possible, right? So there are going to be certain slippages along the way. There are going to be certain gaps that get created along the way. So that is something which is called a strategic drift. And how you're going to close on the strategic drift will be by taking corrective action as and when required to get you back on track. So that is what a strategic drift is. Position I used pestle. Is that okay? Yes, I mean, to analyze your present position, you can make use of the pestle model. Yes, but because we have not done the pestle model as such, in your ACCA syllabus per se now, Kanish, as yet, that's why I did not touch upon that route, right? But you can do that, no problem. Okay, so drift. So what are the slippages and how do I get back on track from those slippages? How do you avoid those drifts? By regularly reviewing and assessing if things have changed, if there is corrective action required, if something more is required to be done, when and how. All of that would be, how do you avoid your strategic drift, right? Quickly revise the chapter that we've just done. Very quickly, I want you to revise and please ask if you have any doubts. This was just to, basically, it's part of the introduction session only to understand that why are we studying this subject in the first place. So quickly go through this, ask if you have any doubts. I await either a doubt or a confirmation from you. It cannot be that, you neither have a doubt nor you are going to give me a confirmation. So please either ask a doubt or give me a confirmation that you've understood the concepts. Let me know, guys. Send in your response in the chat box, please. I'm awaiting your response in the chat box. No, you don't have to memorize anything, Kanish. That is the beauty of ACCA exam, is that no mugging up is required. The only thing you really need to understand and probably learn is the structure of the models. Like JSW, what are the 3 elements of the JSW? So just that probably you will need to learn. But what is the application of it is what will come with question practice to you. Right? Wonderful. We need not replicate the workings. Absolutely no. There will never be one right answer in SBL. Your answer may be perfectly fine. My answer may be perfectly fine. Your and my answers may be poles apart, but still both of them probably might be right. As long as you're able to justify what you're saying, as long as you are able to relate it to the scenario, as long as you are able to, prove your point, you get a mark. It's as simple as that. So there is no one right answer in SBL. That's the beauty of the subject, right? Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys, for your confirmation. Let's call it a day now. What I will do is that now, before we actually hop on to the next week, let me open up your BP practice and revision kits. Let me just show it to you on your screen and give you homework for this, because we now gonna have a 1-week gap. So I don't want you to waste on that time. So very important for us to study through the study material, log on to, take your physical books, open up your e-codes from there, and I am just going to show you the Strategic Business Leader book till then. This is the workbook. What we're going to do is we're going to open up our practice and revision kits instead. So this is my practice and revision kit. I myself need to get a new sorry, this is SBR. What am I doing? Let me open up my SBL workbook, practice and revision kit, guys. And then I will show you the questions that you need to hop on to in your books before we come and meet for the next class. I hope my screen is visible to all. I myself will also get a newer version of the ebook in the next class. But till then, I'm just showing you what the book looks like. And if there's any relevant question that you can do, because we've literally just done an introduction phase today. So I am just going to show you how question-wise topic-wise, we're going to do all the questions here. So this is topic-wise. This is basically just name-wise, but this is the table that we're going to refer to. So today we've covered the topic, just basic strategies, what we've literally looked at just to set the tone of the subject really. No, as such, I wouldn't call it like a proper topic done. So strategic management process is probably what you can look at this question. Question number 1A is what I want you to do as homework. So just to make you understand the basic process per se, this is only just a grooming exercise for you. We haven't literally done any topic per se, just introduce the subject. But this is also very generic question, so you can have a look at it as part of your homework. So question 1A is what you have to have a look at. And also, before you come and meet me for the next class, make sure that you have revised the concepts, which I will be sharing this PPT with you on your LMS. So revise the concept, open up the workbook and go through the relevant topic on your workbook as well. So workbook reading is something which will be as part of your homework for all the topics that we will be covering from our PPT notes. Right, guys? You're not able to see the question. Okay. I think I have not shared my screen. Let me just share the screen. Okay, so this question, strategic management process, question number 1A is what you have to do. Right? Okay, then thank you so much, guys, for the session today, and I shall see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.